Okay, good morning. We'll say hello. We'll give everyone just a couple of minutes to find the link and then log in for this live webinar. So just to make sure you've got some paper, perhaps a drink, and then we'll get ready to go. All right, look, we'll get started. I'll do a bit of an introduction, and then for anyone else that's coming on, they can join in as they're ready. There will be a replay available of this until Friday. So if you get to watch or don't get to see all of this session, then obviously feel free to watch the replay. I'll send the link out once this webinar is finished. So just make sure if you can see the screen okay, perhaps if you could enter a yes or a Y in the question and answer box on the right-hand side. If you don't see a question and answer box, you might need to hover your mouse over on the left-hand side. There's a little Q&A box over there. Now, I'm happy to stay online at the end as long as we needed to answer any of your questions that you may have. So get them ready. You can ask the questions throughout as we go, and I'm, of course, happy to answer. But if you have plenty of them, then feel free to have them ready at the end of the webinar. Now, there's going to be lots of great info in this webinar. So if you're finding it hard to get started or get into running, or maybe you've perhaps tried several times, and just for whatever reasons you haven't been able to get on with it. So I'll encourage you to take notes, obviously, as I'm really going to give you all the information you need to get started. It's going to be as simple as that. I want to get more people running so they can experience the benefit and joy that actually comes from running. Not always the running part of it itself, but what the experience is and how you feel after you've finished a run. At the end of the webinar, I'll let you know up front, I will be talking about my Run Strong, Build Confidence Through Running program, where you'll be able to work with me and do more than just get started with your running. You actually be in a position to achieve your running goals by the end of the program. But I'll be giving you everything you need to get started. This program will be for a select few who have tried so many times to get started, yet just for whatever reason haven't been able to. So for now, hopefully you've got a drink, a pen, piece of paper. Let's go. I'll say hello first. I'm Simon Moore. I'm a running mentor and running coach. There's me running in a Sydney, I think it was a half marathon, running under the Harbour Bridge. Pretty beautiful place to run around Sydney. If you haven't done it, definitely something to put on your bucket list of things to do or places to run. So today in this webinar, you'll discover a unique 3-point formula to learn how to run, even if you're not a runner and you never have been. It really is for everyone to get into running, no matter what your level or ability is. You'll discover how running really is the ultimate outlet for life. You can understand how you can gain clarity and boost self-esteem using one simple strategy that I've used for a long, long time. You'll learn 4 ways to overcome self-doubt. And I'll give you 10 tips to actually start running today. So often people will come up with lots of excuses as to why they can't. All you really need is one excuse why you can, but I'm going to give you 10 tips to actually get you started so you can head out the door and go for a run today, even at the end of this webinar. Try to hang around at least until the end. And then I'll teach you and show you how you can actually find out how to get more time for yourself and get back to being you again. So again, I'm going to share how you can do all of this through running for free. It's my shout. So thanks for joining us. Now, here's a quote that I love for running. That's what running does to lives. It's not just exercise. It's not just achievement. It's a daily discipline that has nothing to do with speed, weight, social status, sexual orientation, political affiliation, where you live, what car you drive, or whether anyone else loves you. It's about the slow and painful process of being the best you can be. That's why the first step out the door is always so hard. That's when we choose between settling for ourselves, or for average, and being a superhero version of ourselves. I've taken that from a book called To Be a Runner by Martin Dugard. And again, I said before, I want to help you get out the door. And as it said, that's why the first step out the door is always so hard, or we often make it a lot harder than it is. Now, for many of you, I dare say that the big problem is that you're just working so hard to survive each day, and you just possibly don't have the time to start something new. Now, for those of you who have actually run or done any form of exercise in the past, and whether it's through career or family, you haven't been able to continue on, you definitely know the benefits. You know, you always felt good after a session, whatever it may have been, but after any sort of exercise, you always felt good. So you know the benefits. It's just now a matter of how do we actually make it a bit more of a priority. Now, does this sound like you? You're perhaps exhausted, stressed, always taking care of everyone else's to-do list before your own, no time for you, you've perhaps lost yourself, possibly not having any fun, and you're not sure how to turn things around. And don't worry, I've trained with plenty of clients, and that's definitely where they're coming from. Now, in this webinar, you'll learn how to break through your fear of not making yourself #1 priority, and learn how running can actually save you on a massive scale. So again, running is such a good analogy for life. Often we're challenged in life in many different ways, and running is the same. You'll be challenged when you run, but being able to overcome those challenges will show you how running can actually save you in many areas of your life. And another quote, I do love my quotes, but running to me is a moment in time to allow you to regain perspective. Now, I think that probably defines running in its purest form. It really does allow you to regain perspective on your life. Now, is this you? Perhaps you've tried running. You maybe have joined a gym in the past. Possibly you've tried walking with friends if the other two haven't worked, or maybe as an add-on. Possibly don't have time for everyone else, no time for you, maybe feel helpless, and you probably just don't have any time, full stop. Don't worry, I get it. I've been there, and I guess that's why I'm able to now share my story and try and help you, or try and help pull yourself out of that situation. So here's me. I've been there myself. I'd always been fit. I used to run. I do run, but I used to cycle, gym, surf, snowboard, and really I just like helping others with tips and try to motivate them to be fit. I then became a personal trainer on the back of that, so that I could help motivate more people and have a direct role in helping them to achieve their results. Now, after a few years of doing this and loving it, I'd gone on to establish 2 more businesses. So I was now running 3 businesses. But I think for those that have got really busy lives, you probably guessed that my business ended up becoming my life and my priority, meaning that my wife and family were not a priority, friends were no longer a priority, and I just wasn't a priority for myself. So fitness and the very thing that I was running 3 businesses for was probably the furthest thing from my mind. And as much as I knew it would help, I was working so hard to try and stay afloat, I just couldn't fit it in anywhere. I was literally a walking zombie, getting through each day in autopilot and thinking that no one would notice while everything was slowly falling down around me. Some days I don't even remember the events of that day, have no idea what happened the day before, but I just knew where I had to be and what I had to do. Thankfully, I could eventually see the damage I was doing, and my first step was to get my fitness back. Now, I had to start back at the very beginning with my running, and while it was hard, I immediately knew that's what I'd been missing all this time. I'd become too caught up in life and business and couldn't see anything clearly. Once I started back with my running, it wasn't long before I realized that for both my own and my family's benefit, I needed to sell out of one and then eventually 2 of those businesses. I had to make myself more of a priority in order to be able to make my family a priority. Running definitely helped put everything in perspective again. And I'd lost a lot of confidence in this time and going through those, the ebbs and flows of business, and getting back into running, seeing my distances increasing, and my time's getting faster, gave me back some belief in myself, and then started to rebuild my confidence. Now this picture of is a picture of me and my parents, and now I've included this photo as my family does mean a lot to me, but also because part of the reason why I've established my Runstart and running business is due to the relationship I've had with my mother. And and it was obviously different times, but she missed out on doing many things in her life because she decided to bring up 6 kids, which, as you could understand, would keep you quite busy. So I know there's lots of things that Mum wanted to do, but she chose family as her first priority. Now, I want mums out there not to miss out on doing things for themselves. I think it's inspiring for their kids to be able to see that their parents are active and just doing things that they love. Obviously, it's not meant to be as a detriment to your family, but I think you will find that you'll become an even better parent and more fulfilled in life if you can continue to do, or at least get back to doing, some of those things that you enjoy doing. So if we think about those things that you've tried, let's have a look at a typical gym timetable. And this may provide some answers as to why you've not continued on with it. So possibly takes 10 minutes to get changed into workout clothes. Maybe driving to the gym is another 15 minutes. You do a class, aerobics class, up to 60 minutes. At the end of it, obviously you're hot and sweaty, so you're going to have a shower and change. And then you've still got to drive home, so another 15 minutes. So all up, it's about 2 hours worth of, worth of your time. So now, obviously, it can be also too hard when you get there. There's not necessarily a progression, possibly not a program or a system. The trainer will generally train everyone at the same fitness level if it's in one of those groups. So it doesn't matter if it's your first session or whether you've been coming for a long time. It's not always someone to ask questions to. You possibly don't have a real goal. It might be that you want to lose weight or you want to get fitter, but it's not any more direct or accurate than that. And obviously injuries, when you're training in big groups where there's a whole mixture of fitness levels, injuries can potentially be on the up. Can be too confusing. Which exercise is best? Should we be doing weights? Should you be on machines, doing classes, spin, CrossFit? For anyone that's got a friend or knows someone that does CrossFit, you'll definitely know about it, or Zumba, or whatever the latest craze is. So it really does get confusing. So add to that the 2 hours that you've just spent or you've remembered from the past of having to spend at the gym or get into the gym and doing the workout. Too hard, and then it just gets too confusing. Now, the next one that a lot of people have tried, so they might have tried the gym, and then the next, just because the gym doesn't always work or it might be too far away, might be walking with friends. So this can start really well, and I do love the feeling and the meaning behind it. But then what happens? Potentially your friends got busy, you got busy, you might have had kids that are sick and meaning you're unable to get out on a walk on a particular day. You might have added new friends to the group, which can obviously change the dynamics. And again, it might be a wrong time of day. You're perhaps on tuck shop again, or you might be at work and unable to get there, while obviously friends might have different days that they're either working or supporting their family with. And then again, different fitness levels. So again, it can start off with the best intentions, but then you might have someone that perhaps wants to run, or versus someone that is still only walking. So again, walking with friends, really great idea, but then it just sometimes gets a little bit hard to continue over the longer term. Now, another one, you might have actually tried running before, and I know plenty of people that have tried running. They've told me it's too hard, perhaps that they've hated it. Maybe they get bad knees. That's a great one that I hear fairly regularly as a running coach. They're embarrassed, as in don't like to go out in public or be seen in public in their training gear and what is typically running gear. There's no support for them necessarily, so they can go and run or train or think they're doing it, but there's no one to really ask questions of. And generally, again, it's similar to going to a gym. There's not always a goal there. Again, it might be getting fitter, losing weight, but there's no timeline on it and no definite number. Possibly there's no one to train with, and running does get fairly lonely and obviously isolating if you don't have anyone to train with. And then once you've gone through all that, you possibly talked yourself out of it. And that's, our brains are fairly powerful. And it's very easy for us to be able to talk ourselves out of doing something. So I want to talk to you today about why running is actually the best exercise. I've talked about those who have tried it, but I actually want to talk about why running is the best exercise, especially for busy women. Now, before I get to that, I want to just talk a little bit about who am I. So I'm an accredited running coach and a personal trainer. I'm someone who loves running, but not always for the actual run, funnily enough. It's for how I feel, as I mentioned earlier. So it's how I feel after the run, the clarity it actually gives me, and the energy boost I get from it. Energy doesn't always come straight away, especially in your early phase of running. But when you get to a point where you have been doing it regularly, then believe me, the energy you get from it is quite powerful. And also, nothing feels better than following a training program, especially on the days that you don't want to do it. You know, it's raining, it's too hot, whatever. And then you actually get to achieve your goal on race day. So the results you get from all the work you either do or don't put in, you are completely responsible, making it so much more rewarding when you actually do the work. Now, I established my Run Start business to help busy mums get into running off the back of training my clients, who are mostly female. Many hadn't tried running or were beginners. So to be able to train them for a race and see the personal journey they go through is something very special. So I wanted to be able to help more women experience that. Now, I remember quite clearly still one client, she turned up to training on Mother's Day as we were preparing for a half marathon. Now, she was so upset, she had to leave her house early to make it to the session. And one of her children had given her a Mother's Day present, and she was excited about it as she opened it. But by the time it came to her daughter to give her a present, she was rushing out the door to try and get to our training session. So she didn't react in the same way. And as a parent, I think you'll understand that, and you've probably been through it before. So when she arrived at training, she was quite down and upset. And I just remember saying to her that when you get to race day, you're going to have to remember this moment and all the moments you have given up with your family, that when you cross the finish line, it's all of that journey that you actually need to remember. It's not just the race. So it's not just about how far you've run or about the running, it's about the journey you've taken to get there. So when she crossed the finish line, she was in absolute tears of joy, but her family were there to greet her, and everyone was so proud and inspired by their mum's effort, and none more so than my client. She had such a huge feeling of belief in herself. Her confidence was just sky high, because it wasn't that long ago, literally, that she'd been telling me about how concerned she was signing up for a 4-kilometre race, yet now she'd just completed a half marathon. So this right here is why I want to help more women get into running, to challenge themselves and challenge what they think they're capable of. And no offense to any men that may be listening, but there's something about women that they just understand and can relate the journey of running to their life, and it seems to help them in so many ways. Whereas often for men, again, no offense, but it's just something that they don't necessarily see the correlation or the benefits that come from it. So that's who I am. Now, to tell you why running really is the best exercise for busy women is that your entire gym is basically there on the screen. It's a pair of shoes. Obviously, there's other clothes that you want to wear, but all you really need is a pair of shoes. And then the beauty is that that's your health club, depending on where you live. But ideally, you've got access to outdoors, and you can just go for a run. There are distant trees that might be around the suburbs, might be near the beach or near water, but that's where you get to train. So you've got a pair of shoes, you've got your health club. There's not really much stopping you other than what is going on in your head. So now I want to just talk to you about running as being the ultimate outlet, and why I think running, or more people should be running, and how they can actually benefit from it other than just the running. So I want to talk through understanding. This first point is that if you can make it through the next 1 minute, the next 5 minutes, or the next 30 minutes of a run, you can generally make it through a day, a week, or a year of your everyday life. Now, you connect through shared duress that allows you to develop a unique empathy, because you understand that in a race, everyone feels the same at one point in their lives, but learning to work with it and not against it, that's actually going to help you. And you get to share that with other people that you don't always get to share in life. get to focus on what's directly ahead of you rather than what's behind you, and around what tomorrow has to actually bring for you. So again, it's positive because you can only keep looking forward to make it through a run. And also, running allows you to put yourself first rather than anyone else. Not in a selfish way, but running gives you some space and alone time. And obviously, we're here because finding time for yourself can actually be quite hard. So running solo will sometimes give you the space you crave and gives you time to to break out from the world. Meditation can be rhythmic, meditative, and calming. So with those deep breaths in and deep breaths out, learning how to control your breathing while running helps to take or helps to release some of that stress from your body. Again, another beauty of running is that you get to release anxious energy as productive energy. So there's no wasted energy while you're running, and helps you with coping because it helps you cope through doubt, pain, logistics, and strategy in your running life. Brings you confidence when you're dealing with issues in everyday life. The mental fortitude and physical grit developed in running is not so much an outlet, but does become a real skill for dealing with frustration and anxiety in real life. Obviously logistics as well, because you have to manage to get somewhere, or you may need to be out and back by a certain time before the kids get up perhaps, or before they get home. And then I've put in creativity and expression through movement, because it can be just as offloading as, perhaps music or arts or whatever it may be. You can choose the colors that you want to wear. You can choose a different way to run. You can choose the events to pick. There's lots of different events out there. There's colored runs, there's mud runs. So there's lots of different things that you're able to choose from. And then obviously the speed and tempo of your run. And they're just some of the ways you can actually escape from the inner you that sometimes gets locked up on the inside. So gives you a chance just to break that out and let loose. So I think running really is many things. It's competition, it's a long journey, it could be a short sprint, but it can also be your escape from the world. As I said earlier, it's a moment in time to allow you to regain perspective. And learning to work through pain and make it through is sometimes all you need to show yourself what you are truly made of. And that's, again, something that's pretty powerful in life. So I'll talk through now a testimonial from one of our clients, Deb. After going through a health scare 18 months ago, I knew that as soon as my body was up to it, that I wanted to do a half marathon. And I knew that I needed Simon's help to get me across the line. Simon's a great trainer, passionate about health and fitness, and he's genuinely interested in you. He has an easygoing nature, yet at the same time, the ability to motivate and challenge you to get out of your comfort zone and get the results. He instilled in me the confidence to believe I could really do it and supported me every step of the way. Last weekend, I ran my first half marathon. Thanks for making it seem easy, Simon. Thank you, Deb, for your awesome testimonial. So now I'll take you on to 10 tips, and possibly what some of you are here for, 10 tips to get started with your running. And obviously, I want to help you get out the door and take down some of those barriers that are stopping you. So shoes. Now, go to a proper shoe store. Should hopefully have a running professional in there that can have a look at your feet and how your foot rolls. Take your old shoes if you still have them. And I suggest or encourage you to go as late in the day as possible, when your feet are hot from walking around, instead of early in the morning. Now, it may not smell the best from your feet's perspective, but the shoes you will get will be more than likely too small for you if you actually do go in the morning. So at least late in the day, they'll be a similar size to what they'll be after they've swelled up, when you've been running for 10 or 15 minutes or so. So go late in the day, get your shoes organized, spend the money, it'll be absolutely worth it for you. Second one I want to talk about is setting small, achievable goals. Often people say, set big goals and then try and reach them. But I think it's actually better in running to set small, achievable goals. And the beauty of running is that within a bigger goal, so let's say you might want to run a 5-kilometer run or 10K or whatever it may be, but within that you have a series of mini goals. Now it might be running around the oval for the first time, it might be getting to the next tree, next street sign, or perhaps the next corner. So you're constantly achieving goals even on a smaller run. And so by taking a series of small steps and reaching small goals, you will in turn reach a bigger goal. That's a given. 3, walk and run. So now when new runners start, they think that to be a runner, you've actually got to run the entire time. Now that couldn't be further from the truth. And unfortunately, that's possibly why a lot of people don't start running. Lots of top coaches, myself included, will include walk-run intervals through their training programs, and will even include it on their race day program. So similar to setting small achievable goals, the aim is that your body only ever has to think of a relatively small distance, and then it can relax while you walk. You can get your breathing under control, and then you can get ready to go again. It takes a lot of pressure off knowing that you only have to walk, or you'll be walking again in a relatively short distance. 4th tip I want to give you is distance over speed. So in your early days of running, focus on the distance rather than focus on how quickly you should be doing it. Speed will come with time, if you do want to get faster, that is. But you can also focus on time instead of distance, as in you might only have 20 minutes to spare, so you can just go for a 20-minute run rather than deciding, I've got to do a 5-kilometre run today and I've only got 20 minutes. Just go out for a 20-minute run. But again, don't always think that you've got to get the speed up, or have got to do 10 kilometres in a short period of time. Next one is really, I can't really put it higher on the list, but it actually should be near the top. Joining a group. So joining a group will absolutely help you to reach your goal. A group will help you to keep accountable and to help you to keep showing up and not wanting to let the group down. So groups are awesome. Obviously, there's also going to be different fitness levels, different experiences within the group. So you get to ask lots of questions of other people, and basically it just takes a little bit of the little bit of the nerves out of the having to run, especially if you're running new distances, or you might have to do a hill workout. It's a lot nicer knowing you've got others there to share your pain with you. If you can't join a face-to-face group, obviously join an online group where you can at least talk to other people, and then just share your journey with others as well is vital in your success. Now, rest is your friend. Remember, don't rest too much. You actually want to do the training, but rest can sometimes be more important than some of your running sessions. Now, often though, what happens is you'll find your groove. So you've just got into it, you've been training for a little while now, and you think, I better not stop. I'm going to lose everything that I've just learned. But this can actually be terribly harmful to your results. So rest really is your friend and allows your body to adapt to all the changes you've been asking of it with your training. So enjoy your rest. It might be doing some cross training, it might be having a massage, or it might be just putting your feet up, watching a movie, reading a book, whatever, but just enjoy it. 7th tip I had for you to start running is to form a habit. Now, it's, again, similar to life. Consistency is going to get you the best results. I dare say that if you're on the webinar, you haven't been as consistent as you would like. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you don't follow your program exactly, but instead still keep running. You'll be surprised that you can still do your race distance and have a good time simply because you stay consistent. So do it. If you may miss a session, but try and pick it up at the next session. You may have to do 5 kilometers in a session, and you might only make it for 3 kilometers. All fine, just keep moving forward. The next one is similar to tip 3, where I talk about planning walk breaks. Don't run until you're exhausted and then walk. Always have a plan to walk. It could be a time or distance based, but stick to it. Even when you're feeling great and think, I don't need to walk today, I'll just keep running, your body will actually thank you later. And psychologically what's going on is if you finish each running session as though you're exhausted, it's always going to be that little bit harder next time you've got to go out for a training session, because you think, well, it was hard last time. It's going to be hard again today. I don't know that I really want to do it. Whereas sometimes it's nice to actually finish feeling relatively fresh and feeling like you could have gone faster, so that then next time you get out and run, you actually want to get out there and your brain wants you to get out there as well. So always plan walk breaks in sessions. Not all sessions have to have them, but if you can, plan for them, and then just enjoy it. Running is really about enjoyment. Cross training, I mentioned it briefly before, but where cross training comes in is to help your motivation, and obviously it can also help protect your body from injury if you're using muscles and using the body in a number of different ways. So if you enjoy cycling, surfing, rock climbing, tennis, golf, whatever, keep it up. You won't love running every day, to be honest. So if you know you have a ride with friends coming up or a game of tennis, Go and do it, even if it means skipping a running session. You'll be better off longer term if you keep doing the things that you love and keep training your body in different ways. And then finally, take it slow. Sometimes it's hard not to compare yourself to others. You know, we're human after all. In running, you're going to see many people run past you, especially in your early days. So remember that you have a different goal. Let them go, and you'll be surprised how quickly you'll be running past someone. And they'll be thinking the same, and they'll be thinking the same thing. So there is a time and a place for speed. Initially build your foundation, stick with it. You need to go slow in order to be able to go faster. Now guys, don't forget, if you do have any questions, please write it in the Q&A box on the right-hand side, and I'm happy to answer those as we go. Now, my 5-minute rule is a strategy that has helped me to gain clarity and boost my self-esteem. You know, there's days where you just aren't winning. Everything's going wrong, one thing after the other, and there's just no way that you have the time, no time at all to get out for a run. So my rule on those days is 5 minutes. That's it, no more, no less. 5 minutes is all I'm going to do. Now, it sounds silly, and it probably sounds hardly worth it, especially if, you know, you want to be running a marathon and it's coming up in 4 or 5 weeks. But on the days you can only do 5 minutes, at least you've got your blood pumping a little bit, your brain's working a little better. And the reality is, you know, when I go out for a 5-minute run, sometimes it's 20 or 30 minutes. And to be honest, I've even come home an hour later after a 5-minute run. So my mind is clear and I feel so much better about myself. So give it a try next time you are stuck in whatever you're doing and there's no possible way out. 5 minutes, that's it. Get out there and go. Now, another client, Sharon, I was looking to improve my fitness after being in a rut. Simon struck a great balance between encouragement and coaching, and within a couple of months, a 7 to 8 kilometres run felt reasonably comfortable. I also noticed I quickly became a lot leaner without really trying. I knew I needed a goal to keep me focused and signed up for a half marathon. At the start, I was really worried about how I would progress from 7 to 8 kilometres to 21.1 kilometres. But again, Simon's quiet and considered mentoring really built up my confidence. Don't mind the dog barking in the background. It's just to prove that we are on a live webinar for you. So I finished my first half marathon. What an experience. I felt really proud I'd stuck at the training and chuffed at achieving a fitness goal. I'm now planning the next one. It's addictive. I wish I'd started running years ago, and the only advice I'd give to others is don't hesitate, start now, and consistency is the key. There's that word again. Thanks, Simon, for your encouragement and support. Another client, Julie. In the past, I was also always mindful of my injuries. After following Simon's program, I managed to get a personal best time and pull up without any injuries or pain. It was an awesome feeling. I'm full of confidence with my abilities and can't wait to get out and run. Thanks for your support, coaching, and encouragement, Simon. So now this is why my clients get lifetime results and they stick with it. Here's my quick tips for you. First, I'm going to start with breathing. You want your muscles to be able to relax so you can run for longer. So what happens is most people, especially new runners, will take short, fast breaths, thinking that they're getting in more oxygen when the exact opposite is actually happening. Short breaths while running is like someone putting their hands around your throat and restricting the air you're able to breathe in. You know what will happen if they continue to do this, obviously. Unfortunately, you're going to die. Now, your body is the same, where your muscles need you to be able to breathe in as much air as possible so that they don't suffocate. Often a new runner will tell me that they can't run more than 100 meters as they're exhausted. And yes, they are exhausted, I agree with them, but their body has started shutting down. And the only way to recover is for you to stop and take in extremely deep breaths, allowing the air to reach all the muscles of your body. So instead of short, fast breaths, I encourage you to try this. Take one deep breath in for 4 to 5 steps, and then one breath out for 4 to 5 steps. You can try this at home, you can try it in the office, in the car, or public transport. And I suggest trying to get used to practicing it 5 times. So try and do it 5 times in a row. You might make it to your 2nd or 3rd time, and then all of a sudden you're thinking about your to-do list or your work or family or whatever it may be, and then you'll forget that you've forgotten about the you've forgotten to count the number of times you're doing the breathing. So practice it 4 or 5 times and then get the hang of it. Once you've done the 5 times, have a little relax and then try it again. Now, the key really is building a foundation. Take it slow, build a foundation. In the previous slide, I spoke about the runners who are exhausted after 100 meters. You don't have to try and sprint. Go back to a power walk or a really fast walk and then jog at that speed. And then we will actually get you to your running goal. So if you run too far too soon or go too hard before your body's ready for it, you'll generally generate big muscle soreness. And mentally, as I've spoken about, this is no good for a new runner, because when you want or need to go for your next run, as I said, your brain's going to be saying no. Also with speed becomes the potential for injury. So injuries can happen at any time, unfortunately, but speed will actually increase your chances of injury, especially in your early days. Once your body has built the foundation, then you can start introducing speed into your training. Now, with the right training program, this is definitely how your first couple of weeks should look. It's not too scary. As you can see, it includes quite a bit of walking in there. So if you're procrastinating, you only even really need 15 minutes in those early days. So again, don't think about it too long. Get out there. Even if you don't have a plan, you don't have your phone with you, think, I'm going to do 15 minutes, 1 minute of running, 2 minutes of walking. Go and do it. That's it. Come home. You started. So as I said, really only takes 15 minutes of your day. Now, the third tip I want to share with you, and something that will help you in a big way, is having a tense upper body. And it's made a huge difference to many runners that I've trained over the years, that you really need to be able to relax your upper body, and in particular shoulders and neck, which obviously carry a lot of your day-to-day stress. So when running, this is also true. So runners often clench their hands together, hold their forearms up and hold their shoulders up. And that wastes a hell of a lot of energy. So instead I say, try this. Shake your hands out every 5 minutes, or as often as you like really, but try and run with relaxed hands. You can try touching your hips or side of your legs with your fingers every now and then. This will help to relax your arms and shoulders. And you can even give your arms a bit of a shake out as you go. You'll be surprised how much difference these tips make to your running and your enjoyment of running. So I'm giving you all of these tips and information as I've tried them all, not just on myself as a runner for many years, but also on many of my clients for many years. It works, and with my support has helped many women reach their running goals in great condition rather than just crawling across the finish line. And all you have to do is get a pair of shoes. Most people have a pair of shoes. Make sure they're a good pair of shoes, but I'll come back to it. That's literally all you need. Probably see in the news or on Facebook or somewhere lots of nude runners, but obviously there's a few more bits to it than just the shoes, but you get the idea. Now I want to talk about self-doubt, because that is something that is big in stopping people from running, and self-doubt has a lot to do with why you haven't gone any further potentially. So when I started running, I had my share of doubts. I often wondered if I could do it, whether I should give in and perhaps do something else. I did my first event, and while I was hooked, every new event was still a challenge to push myself mentally to get through the training. And so now I'm grateful that I persevered. I've been running for the best part of 15 years, and while it still challenges me, I know I can just throw on a pair of shoes and go for a quick run anytime I like. Even with all my running experience, excuse the dogs, it's still important to be able to learn how to manage stress. As you can see right now, the dogs are managing it quite well in moments of extreme doubt, so that you can continue to pursue your goals. So don't compare yourself to others. We've spoke about it earlier. Excuse me for a second. Okay, apologies for that. I've sorted out the animal farm we have. So we'll go back to it. Don't compare yourselves to others. So the temptation to compare yourself to others is difficult. Try not to make unrealistic or unfair comparisons that cause you to doubt your own abilities. Worrying about what other runners are doing just wastes time and can leave you feeling anxious and exhausted. So instead, try to network and learn from others, which we spoke about joining groups earlier. Do research online, find out what they did well, what challenges did they overcome. And a great way to exchange ideas and encourage others is to join the group, as we've spoken about. Hire a coach or set up calls with a mentor, someone whom you can trust and admire. Second one I want to suggest is to acknowledge previous accomplishments. Any runner will tell you that learning to run is hard work. It takes a lot of work and dedication to go from wanting to start running to crossing the finish line. Now, there's going to be good and bad days. Plus, at some point, you'll realize you can't try and be everything to everyone while you are trying to reach your goal, no matter how hard you try. If you feel like giving up, step back from the situation, acknowledge what you've already accomplished. Show gratitude for having reached every milestone, no matter how big or small. And then I encourage you to keep an abundance journal to record your victories. When you hit a bump in the road, you'll be able to look back at the journal and remember why you chose to become a runner in the first place. Now, making decisions in a timely manner will help you to overcome self-doubt. Learning to run requires making lots of decisions, balancing priorities between your family, work, and friends. Every choice you make will have consequences, some positive and others not so positive. So when faced with a fork in the road, many new runners can suffer from analysis paralysis, like often will in your working life, and miss a training session because they took too long to make a decision. You may have sought feedback from other runners, done the research online, spoken to professionals or well-intentioned friends and family members or colleagues, and now all of this information hinders your ability to actually make a final decision and move forward. They may become overwhelmed by the various opinions and frozen with self-doubt. The success of reaching your running goal is determined by the culmination of many of those smaller choices you make over the longer term. Training for any event is a bit more like a marathon, not a sprint. If at some point you make a wrong decision, you can always try and fix it, but at least you made a decision. So commit to a course of action and make corrections as you go along. The more proactive you are, the more confident you'll feel in your ability to reach your goal and overcome your own and sometimes others' doubts. And then finally, accepting your failures. Anxiety is often rooted in fear. Mistakes are inevitable. So no matter how talented you are or how hard you train, you will occasionally make errors. Either training's too hard, too soon after illness or injury, or catching up on a missed session. We all do it. Some mistakes are easy to correct, whereas others take a considerable amount of time and money to fix if you end up with a serious injury. Either way, mistakes will make you a wiser, more cautious, yet mature runner. Successful people embrace failure as part of their journey towards success, rather than obsess over problems. Focus on the solutions. If you make a mistake, it's okay, you're human. Some are too afraid to do anything because they will make a mistake. So be happy that you tried something and you're going to learn from it. Then move on, let it go. You don't need any extra baggage to carry on your next run. So now I want to talk about the Run Strong program. And this is really here to help anyone who is struggling to get started in running, or people that have been trying for a long time to try and get into running. So what is Run Strong? It's a learn to run and reach your running goals. Will help you to build confidence and get back your childlike energy again through running, even if you hate it. And that's honest. Now, what they're going to do for you, it's going to help you to reach your running goals. Means you'll be able to run whenever you feel like it. Gives you back time for you. Gives you back the belief, as I've spoken about. Gives you back belief in yourself. Will help you to build confidence in yourself. Gain clarity. Get rid of any of that mental fog. And will help you to have some extra energy in your day. Here's Anna, another client who's got into running. Now, she said, I pretty much hated running since I was made to run cross country at school. So I spent my adult years avoiding not just running, but fitness in general. She's honest. When I got to my 30s, I realized that fitness and wellness had to be a part of a balanced lifestyle. So I started interval training. So I've just realized you haven't been looking at all those slides. Despite this, I'd still not faced the running part properly for Anna. This year, I decided that it was silly that now as an adult, I still had such a strong dislike towards running. So with Simon's patient and gentle encouragement, I started with very small distances, now building to a run of up to 2 laps every week of about 7 kilometres. It's still challenging some days, and I know I'll continue to improve. I've no ambitions to be a marathon runner, but at least I can do a decent run comfortably without the mental barriers that I'd held on to for so many years of my life. Thanks, Simon, for helping me to overcome those barriers and for being a constant source of encouragement. Again, thank you, Anna. So now, what do I get? The program's delivered over 12 weeks. There's 6 online training modules. There's a workbook for each module. There's an audio for each module. You get a planning session with me so we can work out your goal, perhaps understand what has held you back from running in the past so we can move forward. There's a live question and answer session each fortnight, and there's a 24/7 private Facebook group that you can put your questions up for me to answer anytime you have them. So really highly accessible. And I guess the big difference is that I'll be there to help keep you accountable and help you to get over any of those hurdles that have perhaps stopped you in the past. Here's an example of what the homepage of Module 1 looks like. It's called First Steps is Module 1. So on there, you've got a video to watch, you've got a workbook to download, you've also got a goal-setting action plan to download and go through as well. So how it's delivered, over the 12 weeks, you'll have access to, as I said, the 6 online training modules, which you can get access to immediately and you can also download to use in the future. There's that initial planning session, which is a 30-minute Skype call to talk about where you're at, the 24/7 private Facebook group, which is specifically for Run Strong members. And then there's the fortnightly Q&A, which is your chance to ask me about any questions, training problems, motivation, roadblocks, gears, you're getting ready for your first race, whatever. That's what that session is there for. Now, what's in the online training modules? There's the 6 modules, as I said. You've got goal setting in the first one and training gear, so you'll learn how to set and obtain your goals, and then we'll also get you into training gear. If you really are new to this, then we can work through what do you need. Again, you can start with the bare minimum, or you can really go for gold and get access to lots of great technology. Module 2 is the training technique, and you'll actually get to learn my 8-step system that I help every runner with to make their run easy and every run easier. Module 3, we go through injury prevention and recovery, and so we can learn how to actually prevent injuries before they occur, and then how it's best to recover from. Module 4, we'll talk about nutrition, which is obviously highly important for runners. Race day preparation comes in Module 5, so we can try and calm you down before you actually get to the start line. And then, what do you need for your race? And then Module 6 is your program selection. So I'll teach you how to select the right program for the event that you're choosing. We do have access to programs that I've written that also include your toning and stretching sessions as well. So again, we get to cover all of this based on what your goal is and what you want to achieve. Another client, Sophie, she said that after being made redundant, running gave me an outlet I could challenge myself and succeed in while looking at the next chapter in my life. I doubted my abilities, but with Simon coaching and supporting me, I knew I had the best chance of being able to reach my goal. Thanks for pushing, supporting, and encouraging me, Simon. I couldn't have done it without your program. And there's a nice happy photo of Sophie running, and she definitely wasn't that happy when she first started running, and wouldn't mind me saying so. Now, who's this program for? You might have tried running on your own without success. You possibly downloaded free or paid programs. Maybe you've joined an online group, and you've just decided that enough is enough. You're ready to make a change. You're ready to commit. You're someone that is coachable, and you're really ready to start living your best life and make a change in your life for the better and for your family. Now, who this isn't for, to be honest, this is, if you're a bit unsure, perhaps you're not committed, you're thinking, yeah, maybe it's something you want to try, but you're not really sure about it. It really has to be a hell yeah. Yep, I'm in it. I'm ready. I want to go. I want to get to first 5Ks, first half marathon, whatever it is, I'm ready to go. And it's not for you if you're not ready to make yourself a priority. So I'm really looking for people who are at a stage in their life where they know that they need to be number one. They know they probably need time away from their family for their family's benefit. And it's not for you if you're not coachable. If it's your way or no others, then again, we're probably not going to work that well together. So I just want to be honest and say that this probably isn't for you. Now, my guarantee for you is that this application is by application. This program is by application only. There's an apply now button. There'll be another one on the replay link and a couple more coming up. So it won't be for everyone, as I said, but if you're tired of not reaching your goals and decide that enough is enough and you're ready to go, I want to support you now, and I want to help you get running today. So please be aware that if you commit to follow the Run Strong program, that with my support, you will actually be a runner, and that's pretty cool. So I'm committed to your success. Now, if through injury or illness we need to have an extra week or two tagged on at the end, that's fine. I want to help you get results. As I've said, if you're not committed to your results and you're likely to start the program and not go on with it, then this isn't for you. I recommend you don't do the program, as there's no refund. So commit to the program, and I'll commit to your running success. Now, to recap, you will reach your running goals. There's the online training modules, the individual Skype planning session, the Facebook group, Q&A calls, and a step-by-step running program for you, as well as me to help keep you accountable. Now, the opportunity is to work with me. There'll be a small dedicated group for you if you've had enough. This is really your time. The program is a high-priced program, I should say, that, again, you want to be committed to getting the results, and I want to work with people who are only committed. And there's lots of programs that are free, $100, $200. Again, programs you don't necessarily have to invest too much of your time in, whereas this, it is a high price, but we're getting you results. You're going to be a runner, there's no doubt about it. And the finish line is waiting for you. So again, you can click on the link there. There will be more coming up for you. Now, we have to talk about the cost of not doing anything. So what's the personal cost to you? Your kids, your work, your friends, your family, what are they all missing out on because you're not confident, you perhaps lost your belief, or maybe you've got low self-esteem? So what is the cost and the flow-on effect of you not achieving your goals? Then there's also potentially medical costs through stress or burnout, having to visit doctors and specialists. So again, your life costs, what do all those people, your friends, do they get to see a good, happy, healthy you and your family, or, you know, do they get to see that person who's stressed and burnt out? So we want you to start living your best life. I want you to start living your best life, and I think you can do it through running. So running's easy, it works. All you need is those pair of sneakers that keep popping up. You can do it anywhere, anytime, no excuses. So you can apply now through that link there. I'll just keep that page up if you want to click on it. But as I said, I will be sending out a link with a replay so that you can click on there. Now, I'll open it up to any questions. And as I said, there is a box on the right-hand side that you may want to ask any questions from. And then I'll just go through them as they pop up. And I guess I should probably ask a question about who here doesn't want to start running. Obviously, you're here because you want to start running. So that's my first question. Who here does not want to start running? And who does not want to challenge themselves to a bigger goal? All right, so I've got a question that is coming in. I'll I'll read this one. So I've only been running a short time. My friends are doing a half marathon and want me to join in. Should I? Yep, good question. Thanks, Stacey. So my answer to you, it's a bit hard to say without knowing what a short time is and how long your friends have been running. Personally, I believe half marathons really are where the magic is at. So they don't consume your life like a full marathon, yet they've got an extremely powerful impact on your life in a positive way. So I say and encourage you, again, with parameters, if you have the opportunity, plus you've got a group of friends doing it, because they're not always going to be there, go for it. But again, you want to give yourself at least a 12-week lead time to be ready, and just so we decrease your chances of injury. Your first half is really more about the experience and finishing it, and then getting to enjoy the rewards, because funnily enough, it looks like a lot of people do half marathons, but not really many people do. So look, I say go for it. It's something to be proud of, and yeah, good luck for it. Another question, I've tried running, really want to do it. I get started and go great for 2 to 3 weeks, but then I miss a session, then a couple of sessions, then I feel like I have to start over again, and that's too hard. Can I get over this? Yep, good question. No name, but good question anyway, thank you. So look, you've got the vital ingredient, first of all, that you actually want to be a runner. So the very first module in my Run Strong program, I get you to go over the reasons why you may not be running, or why the challenges you face are too big to overcome. Often we can come up with plenty of great reasons or excuses as to why we can't do something, but there's generally something much bigger at play. Too cold, too hot, kids are sick, I don't have clothes to wear, I don't have shoes to run in, I have to look after a sick bird that flew into my house. Yeah, that was an actual excuse that I've heard. I actually had a client, she was a lady in her 50s. Now, she was one of my fitter clients, and she would do all of our group fitness sessions, but never the running. In fact, she would get angry that we actually had to run. So it took some time, but eventually I found out that way back when she was in school, now this is a lady in her 50s, remember, she tripped over while running in front of the group and everyone laughed at her. And she's basically never run since. Now, I dare say that this has held her back in many areas of her life, but once she let it out, she started to run and actually started to enjoy it. So you may need to go way back and find out if there was an event in your life that may be preventing you from reaching your running goal. Uncover that, and I think you'll find yourself getting over your challenges or excuses next time you actually run. Kate has sent in a question saying, what's the benefit of buying your program? I can get a free program on my phone. Yep, cool, thanks, appreciate the honesty. And look, Kate, to be honest, I'm just going to say go for it. If you've got the motivation to follow another training program, then you probably wouldn't be on this webinar. If you are, then there are lots of great programs you can get for free or for a small outlay. My Run Strong program is literally only for those who need a hand to get to their goals. They need someone they can talk to about how they were going, or someone to help them get over their challenges and remain on track with their training. I've seen many people come and go because they thought they could do it on their own, and when I bumped into them years later, literally years later, they're still getting ready for their first run or their first half marathon, but just because life and excuses got in their way. So I'm here for you and to help make it happen for you now. No more waiting around, no more fluffy excuses. But for those who are committed, those who are ready, then I'm here to help you in becoming a runner. But if you've got the program, you've got that commitment to yourself, go for it. You probably don't need this, and as I said, probably wouldn't be on this webinar. Next one I've got is, how much is it? Yep, good question. I'm going to throw that question straight back at you. Is how much is it actually costing you in all areas of your life for not achieving this goal of yours? So you want to run, challenge yourself, but you just don't, or you haven't. So it's similar to my 50-year-old client. What is it costing you in other areas of your life? Might be a lack of confidence in your work, so perhaps you don't go for promotion. Might be as simple as not having an outlet, so you're perhaps angry or vent at your husband or your kids when you know they aren't actually the problem or doing anything. You just don't have a way to let it out. For those who are committed, complete the application, and then we can talk about where you're at. And then whether this program is for you or not. If it's not for you, then it's pointless even talking about price. If it is for you, great. You don't have to commit until you're ready. If you're ready now, as I said before, why wait any longer? If the time isn't right, that's also fine. Everything happens in your life at the right time for the right reason. I'll be here for you when you're ready. Another question, thanks, is that Marg, I think that's Marg. I have friends who run, but I just don't have the confidence to run with them. So I'll make excuses, they're just too fast for me. Now, great question, and I do know exactly how you feel, funnily enough, is that I have a number of running friends who run probably 3 minutes to 3.5 minutes per kilometre. Not sure what that works out to in miles, but while I'd be happy adding another minute or so per kilometre, I just tell them I don't run at that pace, I'm sorry, and I don't feel like holding them up. Yet I also know plenty of people who don't run with me because their times are different again. And to be honest, I don't actually mind it at all. I enjoy running at a slower pace with others and just having a chat with them while they run. Makes it fun, and I can generally catch up on my session at another time. Now, your friends might have been running for years. Again, I don't know the situation, and you may not have been running for that long. Depends what are your goals and how do they compare to theirs is probably a good place to start. Now, if they're similar goals, then maybe you need to look at a specific speed program to help you get up to speed. But to be honest, if you go out with faster runners, it's pretty easy for them to continue at their pace and they can turn around and come back to you at certain points, whether it's a traffic light or a street corner. But as long as you do have a good running fitness level, then it'll actually help you get faster. And it sounds like a while, but in 6 to 12 months, maybe sooner, you'll actually be running with them and have forgotten about where you're at now. So time goes pretty quickly. 6 to 12 months will race by, and you'll be up there and running and have forgotten about this period where you weren't sure about whether you should run with them or not. So don't wait too long is my advice, and go and take some action. Looks like that's all we have in there. But look, guys, I want to thank you for joining us on the webinar. And I just want to suggest that, no transformation is actually going to happen while you continue to read posts on Facebook. We spoke about what's it actually costing you in not becoming a runner. And I think, if you're ready and you're watching this, then why wait any longer? Make it happen. So I'll send out a link for replay if you did miss part of it, or if you wanted to hear the dogs bark again, and it'll have the application link included. It will be available until the end of the week. So if you're ready to go, let's get it happening. If you are joining my program, then I look forward to helping you in reaching your running goals. Otherwise, I look forward to you hopefully have taken plenty of notes and you can get yourself out there and running today.